is actually our official annual meeting. So basically, that means we're voting to approve the 2020 President's Report and also the 2020 Annual Treasurer's Report. Also of note today, we have some guests from the ACC Planning Department present. I'll let them go ahead and introduce. I'll just let Rodney take the floor on this one for housekeeping. So, yeah, Rodney, if you want to introduce everybody.
Okay, I'd be happy to do that. Actually, I am meeting a couple of people for the first time also, so maybe it'd be just good to go around and everybody briefly say who you are and just one little thing about trees. So I'm Rodney Walters. I'm the Community Tree Council Secretary. I'm also the Athens Community Forester. And trees defy some ability of science to explain some of the phenomena, like how they're able to pull water so high up into the air. Edith?
I'm Commissioner Russell Edwards, District 7. I love finding interesting specimens at different times of the year. One of my favorite trees in town is probably the red bud at the intersection of Westlake and Lumpkin. Thanks.
And I'll just call people out so it goes faster. So Edith, you're next on the screen.
Okay. Hello, all the new people. I was the newest member since last year, and I've learned a lot. I don't think I've contributed as much. I chair the Education Committee. I'm a retired social worker, and I'm a tree hoarder. My husband and I have tree dust vacations.
Gavin, you're up next.
Hello, my name is Gavin Hasmer. I'm the senior planner that administers the Development Services Division of the Athens-Clarke County Planning Department, which helps oversee some of the community tree management ordinances. And I appreciate everybody allowing us to come by today and briefly talk with you later on in the meeting.
Aaron.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaron Hall. I'm the new arborist here at ACC. I hope to get to know every one of you. Tree related, my favorite tree is the Persian ironwood.
Holly.
I guess you're talking to me. I don't see any other Hollies here. I guess I'm not officially voted in yet, but I'm excited to be part of the Tree Council. So I'm what's called a public service assistant. I'm part of the faculty here at Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources, and happy to be part of the new Community Forestry and Arboriculture degree program here. And yeah, I love trees. I'm currently teaching dendrology, tree ID at Warnell, and just was out looking at trees to quiz students on, but don't tell Lee because I can't tell her what I was writing the quiz about, since she's going to take it tomorrow or Wednesday. But yeah, I love trees for a variety of reasons.
Jeannie.
Sorry about that. Jeannie Cannell, Landscape Administrator. Trees never cease to amaze and puzzle me.
Jesse.
I'm Jesse. I am a certified arborist. I work with New Urban Forestry with Joe and Sean, and I love trees. That's it.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm Joe Perloff, current president. I work at New Urban Forestry. I'm a ISA certified arborist and a registered landscape architect in the state of Georgia. Yeah, I'm with Jesse. I love trees. I think they're super cool.
Joe is also our humble president. Lee.
I'm Lee. I'm finishing up a Master's of Forest Resources degree. Holly's doing an awesome job teaching dendro. And if I put the phrase trees are awesome on one of Dr. Coder's tests, I get extra points. So I say it anytime I can. So trees are awesome.
Mary Attaway.
Hi, I'm Mary. I've been on the council for a couple of years and it's been wonderful. I've learned so much. It's a great group of people. Welcome, newbies. I serve on the promotions committee and we just try to help get the word out through social media and updating our website and trying to raise money. So I guess that's about explains what we do on promotions. Let me know if any of you all are interested in how you could help out on that committee. At some point, we'll ask you to choose, once you learn what some of the things we do are, you'll get to choose a committee to serve on. I love trees. Let's see. Yes, I love trees. I love a sycamore. That might be my favorite.
Mary Songster.
I'm Mary, and this meeting starts my second year on the Tree Council. My husband and I run a small construction firm in Athens. We pretty much only build in Athens in town, like we're small. I have learned a ton being on the Community Tree Council, and I'm super excited to meet all the people I've met and learn what I've learned. And currently what I love about trees is that this little seed embodies all of the intelligence and information required to grow one, which amazes me.
Patrick.
Hey, I'm Patrick Perry. I'm a new member appointee. I'm a landscape architect, love trees, and recently I've really gotten into growing fruit trees. That's my new kick right now. Thanks.
Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil Hale. I'm retired from the School of Forest Resources, Warnell, they call it now, I think. Tells you something about how long it's been since I've been there. I was a wildlife biologist. Wildlife habitat was my area of specialization as a research coordinator with the forestry school. I'll rely on Rodney to tell us how long I've been on the tree council. Time flies when you're having fun. I think I was here a year or two before he got here, so we can figure it that way. I am the chairperson of the Trees for Tomorrow work group, something like a committee, and we can talk further about that later. I'd love to have you check in with us on that. I love trees. I think everybody said that. My latest claim to fame is I have grown or successfully reared a couple of seedlings from the moon pine by picking up cones underneath the tree and have those in pots, and I'm waiting on somebody to give me enough land so that I can plant another tree. I'm out of space.
Pam.
I'm Pam Knox. I've been on the Tree Council as long as Phil, which is probably about 4 or 5 years. I'm the treasurer, and I'm the director of the University of Georgia Weather Network. And the most interesting thing I learned about trees this year from work was that Georgia is one of the main states for the production of pine seeds. And that's really critically dependent on spring frost. If the frost hits at the wrong time, they lose their whole production of seeds for the year. So that's been a very interesting thing for me to learn.
Sean.
I'm Sean Doonan, and I'm an arborist, and I'm work with Jesse and Joe as well at New Urban Forestry. I've arrived at my 20th year in the industry. I can't believe. So I do. I've done most everything in regard to trees: prune them, remove them, plant them, and whatnot. So glad to be here.
Stacy.
Hi all, I'm Stacy Farrell. I'm the executive director of Keep Athens-Clarke County Beautiful. I have been a part of the Community Tree Council for 18 years. It's been a long haul. Our organization serves as an ex officio member, and over those 18 years, we've done a lot of partnering with the Tree Council on grants and on community projects. So I have a kind of long history of working with the CTC. And gosh, I'm not sure that I heard the beginning question, but I will just say something I love to see the reaction that children have when you start talking about trees and all the things that are made from trees, and that connection that you see that happens when they learn how many things that they use every day are in some way connected to trees. And that's just it's just a great moment. So I love that.
Tori.
Hi, I'm Tori Goff. I used to work at the Athens DA's office. I currently work at the Jackson County DA's office. And I am from Arizona, so I don't know a lot about trees. I hadn't really seen any until I moved to Georgia a few years ago. So everything I know about them, I am learning through this group. So I'm excited to keep learning.
All right. That's great. That is great. Thanks everybody for that. Now that we kind of know a little bit about one another, I guess, Gavin, were you going to lead the discussion on the introductory ACC Planning Department portion of the meeting?
Yeah, I can do that, and I appreciate you kind of putting us first, and we'll take care of that and let you all continue on your way. But again, I'm with the planning department. Our charge here in connection really with the CTC is when called upon, when invited by all of you to talk about development side of Athens-Clarke County and how it affects the overall canopy, as well as any trends and ordinances related to trees. That's where we tend to come in, and that's where Aaron Hall will also really serve as the primary contact for our department to this board. And so certainly reach out to him with any questions you may have going forward. And again, if you ever feel the need to call upon him to attend these meetings or to speak directly about something, just let us know and we'll be happy to oblige. The real purpose for me tonight was not only to introduce Aaron, who has been a member of our department for a number of years now. He's been a planner this entire time, and the arborist position is actually a planner position within our department. So he serves a dual role as both an urban planner as well as an arborist, and he's had experience in both, and he's currently a student. Aaron, I forgot how many degrees you're working on right now, but feel free to let everybody know. But I think right now he's currently in the Master of Landscape Architecture program. I think he's finishing that up. He's also a graduate of the Environmental Planning and Design graduate program over at UGA. So he's quite good at what he does, and I have a feeling y'all are gonna benefit from him being around. So I know we do. Real quickly though, this is the time of year that we typically forward on to Rodney the annual report from our department relating to private development in Athens-Clarke County and the number of construction projects that we see throughout the year. It's a very brief summary. Certainly, we have plans on file of all the construction activity that occurs, all the permits that are issued, as well as any inspections. But really what this is to summarize just the outlook from the past year and maybe the trends going forward into 2021. Now, certainly this year was unlike any other, and it also affected our construction in some ways. Surprisingly, though, when you look at the numbers, the activity that we saw in 2020 did not really slow down due to the pandemic. Plans were still submitted. Construction still took place. I think the only thing that we really saw that was different was people were either hesitant or they were affected in some way by personnel not being able to follow through with some of their construction projects. It's not to say that they won't. I think though that it's a lot easier obviously to submit plans during a pandemic and have them reviewed than it is to start pulling permits and get people out on the ground and get the construction going. When you pair that with economic impact that the recession or that the pandemic has had, construction prices have gone up in many ways. And so even though those plans have been submitted and approved, they haven't necessarily broke ground on some of these projects, but we do expect that to take place either this coming year or the next. So we actually saw more submittals of tree management plans this past year than we did the year before in 2019. We approved around the same number that we did in 2019. The only difference is, again, that when it came to doing final inspections on construction projects, we were down a little bit during this past year. Honestly, I think that is mostly because of the fact that projects we're seeing are very large scale. These are multi-year projects that when they come through and get permitted in either 2019 or 2020, they're not going to be done in 3 months. They're going to be 2 to 3 years for some of these projects. And so I would say that's going to be going forward. We'll start to see those canopy numbers, those overall numbers of canopies conserved and planted in the county change this year and next year as those projects get underway and get final inspections. So certainly if you all have any questions about that report or want to know any more specifics about it, we're open to that, and you can feel free to email us with any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. Yeah, that's great. That's great. We look forward to reading through that report. And we've got a good solid policy committee that is, they got some great goals this year. So we are ready to help y'all out in any way that you need. And Aaron, yeah, we welcome you to every one of these meetings. Absolutely. We would love to have you here. Mark typically attended as well and offered a lot of great input and advice, and was kind of, you know, he and Rodney both coming from the county side of things, just offering that county perspective is huge. So yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing you at these. And yeah, if you have anything you want to say yourself, please do.
I just want to say thanks. I look forward to it.
Great. Well, I think yeah. Let's go ahead, and I guess we already did roll call. We've got 2 action items. We need to approve the January meeting minutes and the January committee meeting minutes. So would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the January meeting minutes and the January committee meeting minutes.
Anybody second?
I'll second those.
All right. All in favor? Fantastic. Okay. Now we also have an action item here to approve the 2020 President's Annual Report and 2020 Treasurer's Annual Report. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to give people a chance to read through these at all? Typically, this is done on the February meeting, but we can table that if folks want to read through those and hold off.
Joe, I would recommend not tabling it because if we do, it may delay getting our new members appointed. I can put it up on a screen so people can scan it, or I think Sean emailed it to everybody too.
Definitely.
I did, yep. And Lee, thank you for the edit. I'll make the change.
Well, personally, I know Sean as a professional, and I trust that he's done a good job. I think Rodney makes a great point. You know, we are trying to move some new membership through. So if we can approve them with Sean's minor edit, I say we should do it.
Well, Edith had some edits too. I didn't know if the report needed to be just tailored to 2020. And so the extra things that Edith added maybe were more 2021. So I didn't know if Sean, did you see Edith's email too?
It had to do with the virtual link. And we compiled a list of resources. So wherever it fits in, we just wanted to recognize that we had done it.
Oh, and let me look at your email real quick. Sorry. Was this in regard to the web page?
Yeah, it was for the web page, but it has other uses as well, perhaps to send to the Green School coordinator.
Okay.
It was two adult and K through 12.
Okay, so I can make that change
Yeah.
as well. So can we pass it with the stipulation that I make the changes that I've received? Okay.
We can. And the financial report was written for just 2020. It does not reflect 2021.
I move that the treasurer's report for 2020 and the president's annual report be approved with changes as discussed.
I'll second that. All in favor? Great. Okay.
Thank you for writing that, Sean.
Yeah, good job, Sean. All right, so now it's time for the treasurer's report. Pam, what you got for us?
Are you talking about the 2020 report or the January 2021 report?
Just the January one. Yeah.
Okay. I sent it out last night, so all of you should have gotten it in email. For some reason, I can't find it, but you can look at the numbers yourself. The two biggest things to recognize in the report, we had one donation so far this year on PayPal, and we have spent a lot of our operating money because of the purchase of the 7 chalk maples. So the numbers have changed considerably since the end of 2020 in a good way. And I have renewed the tax exempt status, so we're good for another year. That's all done online, and I provided instructions to Rodney, so if for some reason I ever can't do it, somebody else knows how to do it. And then I finished the financial report for 2020 and provided it to Rodney and to Sean. And that's pretty much all I've got.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Pam. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get into CTC business. We're going to do the executive and the steering committees and the work groups. So just a quick report. The executive committee did have one voting item, which for expediency and timelines, we ended up pushing this through as executive vote only. But I just wanted to let the council know, I'll just read it off. We voted to send Rodney to a charrette. It's called the Intersection of the Built and Natural Environment Charrette, which will be held on February 3rd. It's a short, it's an hour and a half. It's in collaboration with the ACC Sustainability Office and the South Face Institute, which does green building and design consultation, that type of thing. So those two are pairing, and there's a couple of charrettes going on throughout that week. We voted to send Rodney to the one, the intersection of the built environment. So that will be, I guess, to help develop a clean and renewable energy action plan for Athens. So really excited. I think Rodney's going to have a really good perspective to offer, representing the council. So
I did attend that, Joe. Would you like a brief summary of the charrette?
Oh, that happened already. Fantastic.
Can I, before you do that, can I ask, was there a cost associated with that? If so, just let me know.
There was not.
Okay, great.
Yes, Rodney, please do.
I'll try to keep it brief. I obviously could spend an entire hour just talking about this and not do it justice, but there is a 100% clean and renewable energy action plan for Athens in the works. And this was the first stakeholder feedback charrette. And there are 3 different topics. The topic, they invited stakeholders to attend, but they had to select one of the 3 topics. And so the Tree Council selected the intersection of the natural and built environment to attend. And basically the charrette, the objective is to gain insight into the community's priorities, recommendations, and goals for achieving an equitable, clean, and renewable energy future for all. The discussion questions, there were 5 of them. What are your initial reactions? What does success look like to you? What are the opportunities for partnership? What are the primary opportunities, priorities, and concerns? And how do you want to hear from us going forward? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And I can put up some of the summaries. There were 3 breakout sections. I'll put up the summaries from those breakout sessions. Okay, so the screen, the photograph I'm putting up now is from the charrette that I attended. And essentially, I'll just talk about the input that I provided to the group. Basically, I stated that trees provide a multitude of benefits, and they do save energy. So they save heating and cooling energy, and a well-placed tree can save up to 25% of the energy usage on a residential home. Trees also add to, they provide stormwater benefits, so they assist with percolation. They transpire water from the soils into the air, and they also reduce peak runoff flow rates. They increase economic activity, they increase property value. As far as opportunities, I suggested there's an opportunity to increase canopy cover. And then I talked a little bit about how you need soil volume space in order to sustain a large, healthy tree. And that large, healthy trees are the trees we want, because those are the ones that provide the benefits that we are seeking. Also added that although trees have many benefits, they also require maintenance, and management is required to reduce potential risks associated with them. And because of that, trees do have a cost. However, trees consistently provide a net benefit for every dollar spent. Some of the other topics that came up was solar sky rights. So this Clean and Renewable Energy Action Plan is talking a lot about solar energy, and there could be potential conflicts between solar panels and trees. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, because we have a lot of other things to discuss. I'm going to pop up just a couple more. This is, let's see. This was the second breakout. And in fact, maybe just to expedite this meeting, if anyone would like copies of these, I'd be happy to email them to you. So if you want them, just send me an email and I'll reply with these photographs. Thank you.
Can I add one quick thing to that? My husband, Michael, is on the community advisory board that is partnering with South Face running these charrettes. And I think for the Community Tree Council to stay involved in this and to be aware of it, a lot of the objectives they're looking at, parallel objectives in the Tree Council. And one other thing that came out of that charrette was that there was suggestions to begin to include the Office of Sustainability in the planning process for development, so that they would be part of the review process. and it's a new office, so they haven't had that opportunity. But for the tree council, I think that would be excellent to support that or encourage that however we can for canopy and tree things. So I thought that was a really good idea. They're still in the charrette phase, still talking about ideas, but it might be one we could support if it goes forward.
That's great. Yeah, thank you, Rodney. And yeah, Mary, speaking to that point, that's definitely something the policy committee can put in their annual recommendations at the end of the year in our report to the planning department. So I would encourage y'all to just discuss that in your committee meetings. I think it's a great idea. Let's go ahead. That sounds really interesting. We do have quite a bit to get through, so let's get on to the next stuff that we got here. The next one coming up for the exec committee, we have we're going to talk about something that was tabled last meeting. I'll let Lee talk more about this one, but we had approved to do an individual and a organizational award for the Trees for, what was it? The Tree Steward Awards. So where we ended the discussion was we were talking about Silas at the Broad Acres community receiving the individual award. And we wanted to talk more about what that prize should be. So we talked about possibly a care package, possibly a seedling of the tree that owns itself, and we also talked about possibly a print of the tree that owns itself. So Lee, I'll let you jump on this portion of the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that's the last thing that we need to decide about the award situation is just, what do we want to give Silas as an individual? We've had suggestions, like Joe said, of a care package, like a Walmart gift card. I've got a bus pass I can throw in, anything like that that may be useful to him. We should think about that and then how much we want to spend. We're spending $40 for each award now. So we're spending $80 to give the awards. And then that would be on top of, the Silas gift package would be on top of that too. So I've thought about it, and I think maybe like a Walmart gift card might be a good idea. Do y'all want to discuss this? I know we're already behind time. I don't know. What do y'all think about any of this?
Yeah, Sean, you know Silas the best. What's kind of his background? What's his deal? What do you think would be?
So, and I think Mary knows Silas as well, but he's a resident at Broad Acres, and I think he primarily shops at Dollar General. So I think mobility is like bus, I believe, is his main mode of transportation. So I'm not sure what shopping looks like outside of his neighborhood, but
how about a bus pass?
The Silas gets to ride the bus for free, so just so you know. But there is a new barbecue place, and that might work. Not even, and I'm fairly confident he is a supreme meat eater. He's not a vegetarian.
And
I think that's a great idea.
So that might be simpler, and we at least know that it's in the wheelhouse of what he can accomplish. And so,
Was he the one that offered to do some barbecuing at the last tree planting?
I don't know if that was him. There's a serious crew over there that pulls out the Sunday barbecue.
That's awesome. I think that's a great idea, personally.
And then it can be whatever range, for something as little as $25. I mean, that'd be a good bit of food from Temez. That wouldn't be.
Okay.
That might make more sense than a Walmart card, because if he has to get transportation to go to Walmart, then that's kind of more of an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's something that we know he already enjoys, that's great. Thank you, Mary. I like that idea. trying to just move this along. I guess I'll make a motion that we get a gift card from, I missed the name of it. What is it?
Ames?
It's
Is that right?
Tamez, Tamaiez.
TAMEZ.
Thank you. That and living up street from it, it smells delicious. Way better than cookout. So, but I haven't been able to really enjoy it yet.
Okay, so how about a gift card from the barbecue place, $25. I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. And then do we want to also give him seedlings or a print or things like that?
The print might be nice. Something you can look at and remember, and you know.
Okay, yeah, we're going to give the business a print, so we can. That just makes sense that we also give him a print too. Okay,
I like that.
And I'll get with Pam about coordinating payment for the gift card and all that kind of stuff. I did. For the Tree Steward Award itself, I was able to get us in the queue for the award and then just kind of tell Stacy Smith that I'm going to answer all the questions on the application form later until after this meeting. But I need to get access to the logo to upload that. I need our social media URL. I need the top 3 accomplishments from last year and a short description of our organization. And if anybody can help me write all that or figure all that out, I would really appreciate it. I don't want to just write this on my own and, you know, what if I don't know. I don't want to misrepresent anything. So I want to run it by people. And we've got still like another 3 weeks to do this, but I really need help on that.
You can probably pull the 3 accomplishments from the annual report because I think Sean talked about that.
And Rodney's got the library that has the mission statements, so we can use that.
Okay.
And Jesse, do you have a graphic?
Social media links.
Okay. And then if we've got if we have the logo in a file that I can upload into this form, then that would work for them.
I'm sure we do.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. I'll take the accomplishments from the annual report. I will find our mission statement. It's probably in the tree ordinance anyway. And if not, I'll ask Rodney. I'll see Rodney in a few days. And then Mary's sending me the social media URL, I think, or the logo or both, or I'll get with Mary for that. Okay. Well, that does it then. All right. Thank you, guys.
One question. What about publicity in the Banner Herald or flagpole or
they're gonna
there too? Yeah,
they haven't announced their final publicity plans yet, but they're going to videotape certain aspects of this. They just haven't announced, they haven't set the video schedule yet. But yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces to this that are coming together. So it will be publicized. It's, you know, they're all having to invent this since they're not doing the Green Life Expo in person this year. So they're still figuring it out, but they're on top of that. But thank you for asking. So thank y'all.
Great. Well, thank you, Lee. Let's go ahead and let's just hammer out the final details right quick for Arbor Day, Georgia Athens Arbor Day, which will be held Friday, February 19th. So I'll let Phil, this kind of through the Trees for Tomorrow work group. So Phil, if you want to take the reins on this portion.
Sure. I hope all of you have gotten the emails of the circuitous route that we've taken with the plantings on the Firefly Trail, which are going to culminate in this Arbor Day Fest. If you're missing any of the details, it's pretty complicated. You want to buy me a beer sometime, I'll be happy to sit down and talk about it with you. Otherwise, I'll just say that we have 7 chalk maples that are planted through the good graces of our cooperators from Landscape Management ACC, and not exactly in the form that we had intended, but right hands and left hands put in some garbage cans and some things that sort of fouled up our layout. Nonetheless, it looks really good, and we're planning to convene on Friday, February the 19th at 1 o'clock. I think there's supposed to be snow showers that morning, but I'm assured it'll just be nothing but rain by the time we convene. So bring a raincoat and a hat and a mask. This is not going to be open to the public, but we are going to have several honored guests there from the Athens-Clarke County Commission, including our liaison, Russell, who will be reading, I believe, I hope I'm getting this right because I'm saying it in front of him. I believe he'll be reading the proclamation that the mayor's office is producing, declaring that day Athens Arbor Day. And so we will dedicate those trees, talk a little bit about the Firefly Project, give thanks out, copious amounts of thanks to our cooperators, and then we'll go our separate ways. We may have a work day later to do some more freshening up and talk about next year's plans, but that is pretty much it.
That sounds great. Yeah, Russell, we appreciate you agreeing to come out and read the proclamation. It's going to be really special.
I'm not going to read it.
I'll go ahead and send you a copy of that proclamation, Russell.
I'm not going to read it. I plan on memorizing it and reciting it by memory.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah. Just save the paper, you know?
We'll have it up on your tablet or iPhone if you forget your lines.
Yeah, I'll just call to you, Joe. Line.
Yeah.
The teleprompter may be in use elsewhere that day. I'm not sure.
I think it's great. I think this is going to be awesome. You know, with COVID and everything, I think it's about as good as we can get. I think this is great. So I plan on seeing everybody at 1 o'clock Friday, February 19th.
There should be some parking places behind the racetrack. Otherwise, you may need to just parallel park down Dublin Street or Little Oak or something. Just find a spot out of the traffic and join us.
I have a question. This is Holly. Is it the new racetrack that was built down by the bypass?
Yes,
that's
and
correct.
It's on the Firefly there. That stretch.
Right there, that's the current terminus of the Firefly. Though you'll see the orange fencing where they're continuing the right of way along, but it's right there at the intersection of Little Oak Street and Old Winterville Road.
Okay, thank you.
Highway.
All right, I'll send out an email reminder to everybody ahead of time so kind of have all the details in one place.
Oh, one more thing, please, Rodney. I presume, are we getting another Trees City USA banner to add to our large stack this year? We may want to put one of those up along that fence or somewhere there to promote that while we're there.
Yes, Phil, thank you for asking. We are receiving both the Tree City USA Award. I believe it's the 21st in a row, and we're also receiving a growth award. A growth award based on the inventory work that has been done this year. And we can thank Lee for that. Lee has headed up those efforts.
Thank you, Lee.
All right. Well, that's great. That's great. And thanks to Mary Songster for getting the other two commissioners to come out. That's really cool. We're going to go ahead and get into the steering committee. Still looking for educational shorts if anybody's interested in taking a little 5-minute presentation. Anything in your professional career or experience, whatever, if you want to just talk for 5 minutes about what you do and what you find cool, just go ahead and email me and we can get it set up for next month. I will say that there's a cool article that came out on phys.org, some of you might have seen, titled Why Keeping One Mature Street Tree is Far Better for Humans and Nature Than Planting Lots of New Ones. So that's that should be a cool read. I'll email that out to everybody. But yeah, that certainly has implications for just about everything we do here on the council. So we'll table the educational short for today. And the next item we have is the moon tree signage. So, Jeannie, if you want to take a minute and maybe talk about, I know we've talked a little bit about it. We've seen in email, I believe, the design for it. But basically, my understanding is that Landscape Management Central Services has designed and ordered the sign, and
Yes.
that the council has been invited to install it. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I heard back from Athens Trophy today. It's been ordered. They've given me approximately 3 weeks for them turnaround time to get it here. Can't remember who I sent. I think Phil, I sent you the email. I think we talked about it that either looking at putting it in the island with the tree or even just on the outside of the sidewalk. I kind of had questions about or hesitations about putting it by the sidewalk only because not knowing the future of what that drive might look like. I don't know. But regardless, if anybody, anybody's interested in helping to excavate some of the soil out around just to not to disturb it in the root system, to hurt the tree whatsoever, because we are going to have to concrete to anchor that in. From what I've been told, there was a sign originally. I have no idea where it's gone into the wall, but we don't want this one to go either.
I would like to ask if the landscape management team at ACC, do y'all have a tow behind air compressor, like a diesel?
We do borrow one for the tree spade. Yeah, we do borrow one when we do need to use that from streets department.
Okay. I have a little less pull here with New Urban than Sean or Jesse, but that may be something New Urban might think about donating to. A good way to dig that footing hole could be to use the air spade.
Air spade instead. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm getting the thumbs up from the general manager of New
Phil
Urban
wants
Forestry.
to play. Look at these people. Like, yeah, let's play.
Yeah, as long as someone else runs, that's cool with me. Whoever.
We'll let Jesse run it. Jesse, you got a Tyvek suit? Perfect. Okay. In terms of, I guess, organization for this, Rodney, is that cool with sunshine laws if we just coordinate by email with Jeannie on timing and all that? Do we need to create a work group for the moon tree sign installation?
I think it's fine if we have a work group as long as we don't have a quorum within the group.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to create a moon tree signage work group for the time being, just so we're not having to vote on every single one of these meetings, items, etc. We can decide who's on it later.
I will second that motion.
All in favor? Okay. The council votes to create a moon tree signage work group. So Jeannie will be your anything you need.
Yeah, as soon as I receive this specific delivery date, I will let you know.
Perfect. And we'll get our air spade stuff together unless the county wants to do it. Either way, it's fine.
Yeah. Keep y'all involved in it.
Cool. Okay, well, that's great. Moving right along. Let's go ahead and do the new member interview work group. Sean is the head of this one. So Sean, I'll let you take it away.
Got it. Okay, so Rodney has developed a work group member roster verification and I think you did bios to accompany the new appointments, I believe. Is that right, Rodney? And also thankfully, we have some new members, and Patrick Ferry, Holly, and Ernie Cox, and we'll be sending those on to the Mayor and Commission coming up in April, I believe. Also, another one of the applicants in Abel Kleinbaum, it was close. Wasn't an easy decision, but he didn't make the cut, but he will be collaborating with the promotions team on promotion. And let's see. Lastly, Mayor and Commission meeting. Hirees will potentially go before the commission in March, but likely April, as mentioned. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Let's go ahead. Trees for Tomorrow work group. I think the bulk of what that focus has been is the planting and the ceremony. Phil, real quick, do you have anything else? Okay. So let's go ahead. Grants work group and fundraising. Mary Attaway and Edith, y'all got anything?
I don't have anything to report in the grants category. Edith, have you you emailed me about some homework you were doing on it, so that's great. Thank you for looking into it a little further.
I looked at about 15. There's no urgency about any right now. There were about 5 or 6 that I thought perhaps we met their grant criteria. So I was going to compile a list of those, what I'd looked at, and what we seem to need to pursue. I guess the big one is State Farm in October. They have a small window of opportunity, so we need not to miss that.
Yeah, that one to me was the most promising. I know that Trees Atlanta won that a couple years in a row years ago. So
REI is another one that does projects with Rails to Trails. So that looked pretty good. They've awarded some tree planting grants.
Excellent.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we will keep those on the radar, and that'll probably be coming up fast. So, yeah, definitely keep on those and let us know what we can do to help you. If you decide that the State Farm or the REI is something that we want to pursue as a council, we're here to help. So yeah, just let us know what you need. Okay. So pretty cool stuff here. We're actually getting to the committee reports this time, so that's good news. So yeah, I just got a little blurb here. So yeah, this is this space is, I don't want to say mostly, but this is the space where the committee action items can be brought to the council for the council to vote on. So with that said, if your committee doesn't have any action items at this time, you can just use this space to give a brief update on what the committee's been working on, what you might need coming up, deadlines, things like that. So, and also I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all you committee chairs. You guys are killing it. Thank you so much for getting your agendas and meeting minutes to me, so promptly. That really helps Rodney and me when we're trying to get these things together to be published for the county. So you guys are doing a great job on that, so I appreciate that. And then finally, I would just want to remind and encourage the committees to continue working on your committee goals. I don't necessarily mean for those goals to be, concrete and that's it. And, you made your list and you can't change it, but just kind of an evolving list of things that you want to complete. Just, it's good to have a list of goals. So I really encourage y'all to have those, and I'll check up with you, each quarter. I'll follow up with the committee chairs and just see how you guys are doing on those. And if there's anything me as president or the council can help you out with. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the committee reports. So let's start with promotions committee. Mary Attaway is the chair, so I'll let you have the floor.
Thank you. I lost my, I always seem to do that. I lose my minutes here. I do not have any action items at this time, so I'll just tell you what we discussed briefly in our committee meeting a week or so ago. Some of the things we brought up, Joe, this was a great idea on your part. The thought, or just to explore the idea of all of us having a CTC specific email, just to kind of consolidate where we get our minutes and send our minutes out of. Unfortunately, that costs money. So we've tabled it for the time being. It's only $3 per person per email, but over the years that could add up as committee members come and go. And so we thought there may be some other per month. Yes, as Jesse says here. So that's not an annual expense, that's a monthly expense. And we also know that there may be some considerations with that in terms of people worrying that we may be doing some business that is not open to the public, and we need to be able to be transparent. So we may continue to bring that up and explore when we are feeling very like our pockets are full, but we're not feeling like that. So it's it's not a good conversation to have at this time. Jesse's been doing some work on the website. She added some photos from the MLK Day, which was great. Jesse, is your internet working? Do you want to chime in at all? Put you on the spot.
It's not as glitchy now, hopefully. Yeah, I just updated with our first news item, and I'll do that again after the Arbor Day, as long as I get some pictures from that. Thank you, Lee, for volunteering some pictures. And in the future, when we have events open to the public, we can kind of announce them ahead of time. But as of right now, I'm just going to put them as hey, look, we did this. And then also eventually include them in the list of accomplishments or your annual events on the website. But right now, it's just kind of a recap. Hey, we did this. Here's some pictures. We're still active kind of announcements. So that was the first one, since it was the first one of 2021. I do also plan to kind of change the donation button a little bit. Right now, it takes you to PayPal and you have to enter in the amount yourself. I'm hoping to have it, the levels automatically populate. There's some work I need to do with Pam on that, so I haven't quite done that yet. And then I have other work to do on the site, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I am still working on it. And if you have suggestions, let me know.
Thank you. That's excellent. I think that's an excellent idea. Can we also have have the suggested donation levels, but of course people can donate, they're mere suggestions, right? So, okay. Just wanted to clarify that. Some of the other things we talked about adding on the site were, and our goal is to maybe get this done before our next committee meeting, would be to link the Facebook and Instagram pages on the website, so you would see that you could follow us on those things. I haven't looked into having a Twitter account. I'm not familiar really with Twitter, but I don't know. That's something we could talk about too. It seems to be getting more use, but so the more we get our name out there, if it's easy enough to add, maybe I should do that as well. So that's going to be talked about. We also want to add a page for the policy committee. And this would have a link to the county tree ordinance. If any of the public wanted another place to see that, they can see a lot of this stuff that I mentioned on the county website as it is. But if they find ourselves on our website, it doesn't hurt to have it there too. And of course, that's just going to link them back to the county, but we should have that link there. And we have been talking about reinvigorating the conversation of having championship trees, and that is the place where we would house that if we can get that program up and running again. So those are our goals for, that would be like a year-long goal. That's not something that's going to happen in a month, but we're going to kind of rope in and see if we can incorporate some of that. So some of you newer members, I have not yet sent you a bio form. I'll send you a Google form so that you can answer a few simple questions. And then I am currently working on Joe Perloff's kind of introduction as our new president on our Instagram and Facebook page. But I'll just kind of introduce you all, and I plan to have somebody featured every month. And there are just a few kind of fun facts about yourself that I can kind of introduce you to the public. And we're also doing that on the website. So when you see a request for a picture of yourself, try to make it of your face, not of your shoulder. Mary Songster had some good input on working on a carbon footprint calculator for the website. And we were going to embed this. This was something that she's also working with the Office of Sustainability on coming up with something like that. And we can partner up with them and sort of, if they come up with that, embed that into our tree benefits webpage. So that's something else that I wanted to report. Tori has put together a sheet of past projects and edited it to include the dates, and we still need to update that because I don't think our most recent plantings at the housing authorities have been yet to. So Pam, I probably need to follow up with you because we have to dig through receipts on that, I think still. So we never finished that. That's all I have. Thank you. Any questions? Hey, Rodney.
I'd just like to throw in, there is an opportunity this year for collecting data. I have some extra iPads that are as part of the iTree Echo project we're doing. But when the students aren't using those, it would be possible for a member to take one of those iPads and go out and look at landmark trees and start marking the locations of champion trees. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And so what my understanding of a landmark tree in the county is a tree that is special for any number of reasons. It's not necessarily the biggest in the county. Championship trees are, supposed to be the biggest one that we know of in the county. So, the tree that owns itself is a good example of a landmark tree. It's not necessarily the biggest white oak in the county, but so there are going to be a lot more of those than there are championship trees. And it would be nice if a resident believes that they have a championship tree on their property, if they encounter us on our, on a Google search, that they would have Rodney's information to track down and send somebody out to check that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of information on the Champion Tree program, so I'm happy to help out. Just let me know.
Yeah, I have a lot to learn in that regard, so I'd love any information on it.
I have a list of all the champion trees in the area if you want me to send that to you.
Sure, that's great. Are they in the, I found a state list through the Forestry Commission website, I think.
I have a county list, which also includes the state and national champions within Athens-Clarke County.
Okay, and is that fairly updated, or is that too old?
It needs to be updated, so that's
why you want us
where
to,
we would love to put someone to work if they want to grab
and
the
see
iPad.
if they're still standing. Yeah. Okay.
I think half of them owned by UGA, but oddly enough, I didn't see them on their Arboretum tour. They have a virtual tour, and I didn't see any identified as championship. So I don't know where they're hiding them.
Yeah, I know there's some at the botanical gardens.
Is the list in a map form? Is it, is that something we could do?
It's an old list. It currently exists in a PowerPoint. There's a bunch of slides. They took some photographs. I do have a landmark tree inventory. It would be extremely easy to, hand someone the list, the paper list, and have them go out with the iPad and start collecting the points and making measurements. And the measurements are pretty important. The text that describes the right way to make the measurements, it's either 60 or 80 pages long. So it does require someone to have a little bit of expertise in looking at trees and recording tree data, species identification, that sort of thing as well.
For the championship trees though, for information for the public, like if it was in a map form, that's sort of more engaging when you're
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a landmark tree program map that includes champion trees and also the Millage Avenue Historic District trees. And so that's a perfect place to put that data. It's very easily to then do a query and to sort out just the champion trees and create a champion tree map that is easily accessible by the public. So this is super easy to do. We just need to go out there and find these trees and record the information about them.
I think ultimately what this is going to lead to is probably a champion and landmark trees work group that would be kind of a extension of Rodney in a sense. That would, as Rodney said, there's a little bit of training involved in how to score the trees. But really, I think what it needs is we have an old list from about 2016 or so. So the trees have all grown considerably or have been removed. So first steps would probably be creating the work group and then,
taking some field trips.
Yeah, working with Rodney, getting the training, and then ground truthing the existing list to see what we have. And then as part of that would probably be publicizing the fact that citizens can self-nominate landmark trees and potential champion trees as well. So,
yeah, I'm excited about putting those queries out to the public, but of course,
I
don't feel ready to do that until we have things updated a little bit. And it would be really nice to have the map. Of course, we have to be clear that most of these are going to be on private property. So
that's right.
Just drive over. We got to get permission. Ronnie, do you have some interns that could go take some measurements? No.
I can't spare any interns this year. I'm short one intern right now, so if you know anyone who's really good at tree identification, we're looking for someone. And their efforts are being split between continuing the county tree inventory and doing work with the iTree Echo statistical analysis that we're doing this year. So I'm not able to spare an intern at this time.
So I think we're probably going to be the interns on this, which is, I think it's great. We keep it internal, and we're very connected to the program in that sense. So
that's true.
I think probably for now, since we're running out of time, if we want to vote and create a landmark and champion trees work group that could get started on this, we can go ahead and do that.
Can you state it in sort of a motion?
I can do that. Yeah. I would like to make a motion for the CTC to create a champion and landmark trees work group with the objective of ground truthing and mapping the existing and future landmark and champion trees in Athens-Clarke County.
I second.
All in favor? Great.
Can we gauge just quickly, like a little bit of interest? Do we have is anybody right off the bat interested? Mary? Yeah. Bill? Good. Oh, good. Look. Yeah,
I'm interested.
This is great. That's fantastic.
The more we can divvy it up, the more we
I have
can
a
get
lapsed botanist outsider I may pull in. He works nights, so he'd be. on private property and measuring things.
I'll,
I got 4 names of people who are interested. It was Mary, Phil, Patrick, and Sean. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is
I'll be glad to
Holly.
do.
Edith,
I
Jesse.
I can do
I'm
some of the training, but I probably don't have enough free time to do any of it. But that's kind of what I'm doing for Rodney anyway. But I can definitely show y'all and get you started.
Nobody's raising their hand here.
I'm happy to help with IDing.
Wonderful.
And just so you know, the iPads will not be available at all in May, June, or July. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is awesome. Thank you. It's exciting.
Yeah. That's great.
All right. Good deal. All right. So we got a little bit of time left. It's 5:15 right now. But yeah, let's move on. So yeah, thank you, Mary. And we're going to go to our other Mary, Mary Songster, with the policy committee.
I don't have any action items either. The first thing is I'm actually meeting with Bruce Lonnie tomorrow, and maybe Aaron, I'm not sure. We're going to continue discussion about adjusting the language in the tree policy to work on capturing a fee when waivers are allowed, and that is about as dry and boring as it really is. Mark was really helpful, and he passed information on to Bruce, and I think Aaron is going to be great to work with on that. It's just a matter of really working with planning and crafting that language for that, and that's where we are with that. And then we had talked about downtown trees. We began the discussion and moving forward with that. I had met with David Lynn of ADDA and discussed trees with him, and then that led me to Andrew Saunders. It almost seems like all roads lead to Andrew Saunders, but but in talking about it, it came no surprise, circling essentially back to not a matter of planning or the plan that they have for downtown trees or the policy of the downtown trees, but funding for maintenance. And they have lots of good ideas and lots of direction to go in. They don't have money to do it. And so with that in mind, I've begun crafting a letter from the policy committee and CTC ostensibly an advocacy letter for funding that will pretty much depend on Andrew asking for the money, and then we would submit our letter of support for that. And hopefully by the next policy committee, I have something that my group can look at and take apart and start making better. It definitely will need more facts. I don't have enough facts for sure. So that's the second one. And then for just this meeting, the last thing we talking about the champion trees and the landmark trees. And I know that people are wanting to shore that up and help not just find them and count them, but wondering if on the policy committee, is there something that we can work towards? Y'all start thinking about and email me or email any of us on the committee about a direction that if there is a policy we could ask or request that would help support trees, whether that be some kind of official acknowledgement from the commission when we find a champion tree or when we find a landmark tree or something that we aren't doing to help support those trees. We're just starting to think and talk about that. So if y'all have any ideas or there's something that you think would work, let us know. And that's what I got.
That sounds great. Yeah, I think too, I would encourage everybody, since, the landmark trees is going to be both a boots on the ground and a policy initiative combined. I'd encourage everyone to read that section of the ordinance that describes the protections afforded to landmark trees, and it outlines the process of what qualifies a landmark tree. It outlines what protections it has in terms of development, things like that. So that's a great place to start. just get familiar with what the county has in place. And then I think you're exactly right that there's definitely a lot of improvement. It doesn't have a lot of teeth to it. So I think, if we can improve the protections somehow, I think that's a great policy initiative. So yeah, I'd start there, and then, we'll just hone and refine. All right. Anybody have any comments or questions on that portion? Okay. Well, thank you, Mary. Let's go ahead and we've got a little bit of time left, so let's go ahead and do the Education Committee. Edith, I believe, has volunteered to be the chair for that committee as well. So thank you for volunteering.
We have a really good group. Understand Sean's going to join us. So that's wonderful. Because we're losing Lee, she's just right now has too many irons in the fire. But she has really contributed a lot this year, has done a lot of research. So, we've all appreciated that. Real quickly, we had 2 action items. One was for a spring project. Given the state of the pandemic, we can't plan any event. So we thought about piggybacking with maybe another agency that's doing something like an outdoor classroom through the Green Schools Initiative. Stacy Smith is the coordinator. We're still information gathering, but I wanted to ask the committee for support on this. I guess it's really too soon to vote on it. We probably need more information. But I just wanted to get an idea if there's a general consensus about this. The other thing was a fall event, and Holly had suggested a tree ID walk along the Greenway. And this could range from, it could be something self-guided if there's still a lot of COVID restrictions, or it could be something a little more elaborate with partnering with other organizations such as the Stormwater Office and Sustainability Office, just other initiatives, maybe the native plant people, but it was a treat for tree IDs. And, there possibly, if things loosen up a bit, we could have a guided walk, which would be really nice. We're still information gathering on this too. So.
And the Winterville Tree Council is probably gonna partner with you for that.
Good. Leah's now president of that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I think both of those, they sound great. Yeah, I think, like you said, they're probably a little early on a voting item. We probably need some more specifics on that, but I think they're great ideas. Just continue to refine the ideas and see what the opportunities are. But I think y'all are heading in the right direction. Anybody else have any comments on those? I'm in support of that. Obviously, COVID does affect kind of the public gathering, but I think you guys are definitely on the right track.
Do it like, would it be like something you would like do like a podcast on your phone while you're walking, or is it something, you're thinking to be led by someone, or that it would be you haven't decided?
Mary, you're ahead of us.
Oh, sorry.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
I think that's a great idea, the podcast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with the UGA walk that you're speaking of. That's a really neat. I attempted to do that. I got about 40 trees in and realized I was maybe 1/60th of the way through and gave up. But yeah, that's definitely maybe something you could pair with. We'll just put more work on Jesse's plate. But maybe something we could do through the website as well. But yeah, I think these are great ideas. Just keep on chipping away at it.
Hey,
Anybody else have any?
Hey, this is Stacy. I actually have to scoot off, but I wanted to just throw out there, I finally found the information I was looking for, is that the grant that we wrote last year that we did not receive has opened back up again, the UPS grant. And so for those folks that are on that committee, or really for the CTC as a whole, to decide whether or not we'd like to resubmit. I just wanted to throw it out there. And so I was able to pull it up, and that deadline is March 21st.
Okay.
So, you know,
what do you think? What do you think, Stacy? Would you do it, or do you want us to? We're happy to do it.
I honestly feel like we could just. I mean, I can go back and look at the grant, and I might. Honestly, I feel like we didn't receive it because we've received it so many years in a row. It didn't have to do with the quality of the application. I think it has a lot to do with spreading the love around the United States in relation to, you know, some of these communities that really don't have such active tree councils or such advocates for trees in their community.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't resubmit if we feel compelled to, like, if we get the grant, if we're ready to, you know, follow through. So.
I'm happy
Definitely.
to help update. I'm happy to help update. Access to, do they provide any feedback, or is there anyone you feel like you could reach out to for feedback on, you know, what the parameters, what, you know, what got us out of the running? Because I think that'd be super helpful for crafting the request.
Yeah, I did mention it to the Keep Georgia Beautiful executive director, and I sit on that state board, and she applied for the state, and they didn't get it either. And so I think it came back to a little bit of like, we've been recipients in the past, and they really would like to see a diversity of folks. But I can kind of poke a little bit. I can try and see, but I think last year when we received the grant, we had the same conversation where we were worried we weren't going to get it because we had Phil's nodding because we had gotten this grant so many years previous. So, you know, we were bound to get denied one year, right? But I mean, I'm happy to look at it again. I can do some poking around, but it would probably be for the most part just a resubmittal. I'll go in and double check to see if anything's different. And if anything, I would imagine they maybe have simplified, right? Just under the circumstances of what's going on. So COVID. So I'll do that.
How much is the grant for again?
It was a $5,000 grant.
5,000. That's right.
I think, right, guys?
That's right.
I don't have the grant in front of me. I think it was 5.
For those that may be new to the council, it looks like we got mostly at least 1 year veterans on here, but the council's typically done a UPS grant in the past at some of the Broad Acres and the Rock Springs Athens Housing Authority communities, where we did about $5,000 worth of tree planting and mulch. So we've got a pretty decent formula for that. It's not a whole lot of, reinventing the wheel on the applications. So I think it'd be, I think it's worth, we could recycle our old application, put it in, and just see if it sticks.
Unless I'm mistaken, when we submitted it last, it was for basically a phase 2 at Broad Acres. Is that correct? And so, there's plenty of room there, plenty of opportunities for additional planning. It would require a little on the ground work, but basically it would just be a matter of changing the dates and the year that we're submitting it for, I think.
There is a part of it where we promised sort of outreach and education and school systems. So we may have to retool that to talk about like providing it as an online resource or something that would represent what we could really do. If we film it or record it, or we have some kind of, I don't know how we do that. But Stacey, we can talk about retooling that education outreach part of the grant.
Yeah, absolutely. I just pulled the grant up, and I think, like I said, there may be we might be able to simplify actually, because they understand that, at the national level, they understand that lots of folks aren't doing face-to-face events or contacts and education. So I'll reach out to Mary. I can't remember, I think we're both Marys. Were you guys? I don't even remember all of us that were on that committee.
Edith and I are a part of a work group for grant writing now.
Okay.
It was Nina. I think it was Nina.
It was Nina's baby, so we're trying to fill in a major void there. And Mark was involved too, so they both left this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Let's
you.
reach out
That's great.
to let's reach out to Aaron, see if he wants to maybe help y'all out.
Yeah.
But I'd say for now, let's make the voting item. I'd like to make a motion that the Tree Council does submit an application for the UPS grant for this year. And,
second.
All right, all in favor? And then Stacy, if you just want to be in touch with our grants and fundraising committee, we'll iron out the details.
Sounds good.
So, and that actually is not a committee; that's a work group. So you guys are not bound by sunshine laws. You can go ahead and make your decisions separately from these open forum meetings. So I think that's great. We're pretty much right on time here at 5:30. I don't really have much else. We do not have any parking lot items at this time. So I'm just going to go ahead and say thanks everybody for showing up. Anybody have anything else real briefly?
I have one quick thing that Phil and I talked about, but only to add. We're talking with Danny when we were mulching, and for the areas of plantings where he knew were not going to make it, that we'd have to replant. He expressed interest in, and I think the site could take some of the saplings of the tree that owns itself. They would be allowed to get big there. So Danny was happy about that. So next month we can decide if that's something we feel like we can do.
Okay.
Well, we certainly have ceilings available if they're appropriate. If the committee deems them appropriate, then we just need to talk about that, get that on the agenda, and let's make a decision either to do that or to get something else to go there, perhaps using some of Danny's money if necessary.
The sooner they get in the ground, the better. The clock's ticking for the planting season, and they're pretty little on root bound, so they're going to need all the help they can get.
Okay. Is there any work group that can get stuck in that would expedite that process?
I don't think there's one that exists right now. In the past, we have just, we weren't required to make work groups, but we just did little ad hoc committees when we would do the Broad Acres or the Rock Springs, just kind of pull together an ad hoc group. So I don't know how we should handle that now.
Okay. I think we're nearing the end of our time here. I think we're probably going to have to just table this for next meeting, but I appreciate everyone. Yeah, thank you all for sticking around, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Joe. Rodney,
See you soon.
great job.
Thank you.